This trip has been close to 9 months in planning. There were 3 adults, 2 teenagers, and 3 dogs on this adventure. It was originally scheduled to last for 6 days, but due to a bypass and some easier and faster than expected drive times, we completed it in 5. It's worth noting that John's off-road driving experience was limited to nothing more than gravel roads before this trip. He had never been a spotter off-road, so I decided to use simple obstacles as early as possible to get him some experience. Little did I know that this would pay off later on. I also decided that the best place for him was in my little Cherokee. We would use 2 vehicles for this adventure. The first is a 2006 Jeep Commander. This was the pack mule of the trip. It would carry 2 large dogs, 2 passengers, most of the food and gear. The second was a 2014 Jeep Cherokee. This was a great little trail runner on the trip. It impressed me several times over with its capabilities, ease of driving, and maneuverability. It carried 3 passengers, most of our lunches, personal equipment, and 1 small dog. The route as planned was a modified version of the Washington Backroad Discovery Route. We ended up having to bypass 3 sections, 2 small and 1 fairly significant. The larger of the 3 was known in advance. The route was updated prior to departure, and we opted to bypass on local highways as it was only about a week from the day we were supposed to leave. The other 2 bypasses were just part of the overlanding experience. You run into problems, you adapt, you figure out the solution, you execute the solution. Unfortunately, in both of these cases, reroute around the problem was the only solution for us. Day 1 was off to a pretty typical start. You know, you listen to Siri to get to the town you're starting from. That always seems to go well. We departed from Carson, Washington, a little later than expected, and made our way into Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. The goal was always to get most of the way through the forest in a single day. It didn't take long before we came to our first washout. It wasn't very bad. It was a fantastic first obstacle for John to get used to following instructions from a spotter, as well as learning how to pick a line for another to follow. Little did we know, this was a small sample of what was to come. The washout wasn't undercut at all, so there wasn't any risk of collapsing under the weight of the vehicle. So we moved through using the slogan, as slow as possible, as fast as necessary. After completing our first day of many small obstacles, we made our way to the ice caves for a little stretching of the legs and some lunch. Soon we found ourselves at yet another washed out road. This one was quite a bit more challenging than the first. I took a couple minutes to stop and assess the condition of the road, and decided it was time to start airing down tires. As I started airing down the tires, we came across our first group of people also doing the BDR. It was the first group, but it wouldn't be the last. This was the first attempt at an obstacle where communication was important, and the possibility of damage to the rigs was the highest it had been.
Yeah, you're going to come down off of that rock right there, and you're going to level out a little bit. Your front tire's on it. A little bit. There. Okay, now come this way a little bit. Hold on. Keep coming.
That thing crunches rocks.
You're on the easy bit now.
This was also the point at which a Toyota Tundra decided it wasn't worth the chance, watched us navigate the obstacles, turned around, and went back the way they came.
This is the terrible part.
There you go. Straight. Hey, nope, straight. There you go. Just a little bit. Keep coming. You got it. Perfect. Straight. This was the last bit of excitement for the day. We wrapped it up by taking in the views, moving up the trail, and finding our camp for the night.